Hi, thanks for tuning in. My name is Biasia, and I'm a program coordinator for the Lindsay Meyer Teen Institute. And today I'm here to discuss diversity, the ultimate guide on diversity, if you may ask. So let's go ahead and get a brief rundown of our workshop structure today. We'll be discussing diversity, types of diversity, the difference between diversity and inclusion, benefits of diversity and diversity and inclusion in virtual workspaces. Ready to get started? I know I am. All right, what is diversity, we may ask? Well, this is a word some of us may or may not be familiar with, but I'm here to give you a brief rundown about all about diversity. So, are you guys ready? I'm ready. So, diversity. Diversity means having a range of people with various racial, ethnic, socioeconomic, and cultural backgrounds and various lifestyle experiences as well as interests. Diversity is more than just race. I know for a lot of us, when we think of diversity, that might be the first thing or one of the first things that pops up in our mind, the way people look. Well, diverse environments include not just other ethnicities, but also different ages, sexual orientations, social standings, and abilities, as well as so much more. All right, diversity versus inclusion. Let's get into it. Well, these two do go hand in hand, but they do refer to different things. Diversity and inclusion are two interconnected concepts, but they are far from interchangeable. Well, diversity. Diversity is about representation or the makeup of an entity, and diversity is a representation of different people in an overall environment. Inclusion, on the other hand, inclusion is about how well the contributions, presence, and perspectives of different groups of people are valued and integrated into an environment. Inclusion is ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity to contribute to and influence every part and level of the overall environment. All right, diversity meets race and ethnicity. Let's get into it. So, racial diversity is the acknowledgement and celebration of differences between racial groups. Characteristics of racial diversity can be physical characteristics such as one's skin color or bloodline, characteristics such as language or dialect, behavioral or cultural characteristics such as religion and customs, or environmental characteristics such as living in the same area or sharing the same place of origin. Now, why is ethnic diversity important, we ask? Well, it helps dispel negative stereotypes and personal biases about different groups. In addition, cultural diversity helps us recognize and respect ways of being that are not necessarily our own. So that way, we can better interact with others, we can build bridges to trust, respect, and understanding across cultures. Diversity meets religion. What is religious diversity? Well, religious diversity is the fact that there are significant differences in religious beliefs and practices. It has also always been recognized by people outside the smallest and most isolated communities. Religious diversity brings awareness to the significant differences in religious beliefs and practices and searching for a richer and deeper understanding of diverse cultures. One must embrace religious tolerance, understanding, acceptingness, and a willingness to move beyond our own differences. And some examples of these, just to name a few, would be Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And there are so many different religions. All right, so diversity meaning sexual orientation and gender identity. Sexual orientation is an enduring pattern of romantic or sexual attraction or a combination of these to a person of the opposite sex or gender, the same sex or gender, or to both sexes or more than one gender. Gender identity is the personal sense of one's own gender. Gender identity can correlate with a person's assigned sex or can differ from it. For some individuals, the various biological determinants of sex are congruent and consistent with the individual's gender identity. Well, why is it important to foster a gender inclusive environment, we ask? I'm going to tell you. We live, study, and work in a diverse gender society. Today's children and youth are growing up in a new world, and it's important to acknowledge and create an environment that respects and celebrates our differences in gender identities and sexual orientation and expression. Creating an inclusive culture prevents children and youth from experiencing distress, discrimination, bullying, and ultimately negative health outcomes. Creating a respectful environment that transgender and gender creative children can lead healthy, happy, and confident lifestyles. Diversity meets abilities and disabilities. Well, ability and disability are considered another dimension of diversity because diversity covers the limitless domains of an individual's unique characteristics, experiences, as well as capabilities. Diversity encompasses respect, tolerance of differences that enables a celebration of uniqueness. Ability diversity refers to various abilities as well as disabilities, and differences in cognitive, social, and emotional and physical abilities add to the layers of ability diversity. Children with disabilities may need more individualized and intensive instruction. Now, why is diversity and inclusion important? Well, let's get into why diversity and inclusion is important. An environment where many different genders, race, nationalities, and sexual orientations and identities are present may not, but only the perspectives of certain groups are valued or carried in any authority influence, may be diverse, but it's far from inclusive. A diverse and inclusive workplace is one that makes everyone, regardless of who they are or what they do, feel equally involved in and supported in all areas of the overall. So, embracing diversity and inclusion with youth. Let's talk about it. Some different things that we can do is acknowledge differences, speak up when a bias happens, read diverse books and watch diverse media, provide mental health resources and support, discuss current events at an age-appropriate level with help from resources, offer formal diversity training to student group leaders to increase cultural competence. Some more things, we can coordinate multicultural program and events to encourage cross-cultural interconnection, encourage ongoing dialogue about diversity and inclusion to promote critical self-reflection, integrate diversity education into the curriculum and community to create environment. So some benefits of diverse and inclusive youth groups would be it helps build critical thinkers, improves academic outcomes, helps youth feel more represented and included. Diversity promotes creativity, and diversity enriches the overall education experience. Some different things that we can do to practice inclusion in our virtual space. I know we've been in a pandemic. Some of us are still hybrid or, working from virtually. And these are just some little different things to make sure that everyone feels included in the environment. You can hear out your participants' needs and accommodate them. So that could be something as simple as pre-recording your presentation to present anytime, anywhere, provide mental health resources as well as support. And that could be adding audio to record yourself talking over a presentation, then sharing your video with everyone. It could be minimize cutting off speakers during meeting, and it's excellent for capturing audience beyond a one. So diversity and inclusion are more than just buzzwords. There honestly is like practicing diversity and inclusivity can help our world become a better tomorrow. And these are just some different things that we over here at LMTI like to do, some games and icebreakers that we feel as though promote diversity and inclusion that you all can share with your youth. So we have a game of agree, undecided, and disagree. We have instructions attached, cross the line, as well as categories. And these are all different groups they're all different games that will get your youth's mind roaming and thinking of different ways of how, for them to identify their own privileges as well as some similarities and differences that they may share with people that may or may not be a part of their environment, that may or not look like them or hold the same privileges. This is one of my favorite. This is a broken down version of the privilege walk. And essentially it is a list of questions where you'll ask your students or your youth members different questions. And if they can acknowledge it, or if that's something that resonates with them, they'll step forward. Or if it's something that they feel like it doesn't necessarily resonate with them, they'll go a step back, and you guys can go ahead and pause this video. That way you can read all of the instructions. But once again, these are just some quick games and icebreakers that promote diversity and inclusion that you guys can all feel free to use. The bottom line at the end of the day, in summation, we want you all to know that diversity is extremely important, and it's being able to embrace everyone all around you. Inclusivity is making all of us, everyone feel welcome. Diversity and inclusion makes the world a better place. And inclusion starts with addressing biases and ensuring virtual workspace. Diversity and inclusion is an overall group effort for us all. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at byoung@pipnj.org. Thank you all once again for tuning in to our quick segment on diversity.